Well, here's a few news stories that I think are interesting. Cardano is one of the secondary blockchains. The primary blockchains in use are Bitcoin and Ethereum, and Cardano is one of the ones imitating Ethereum. So you can run smart contracts on it, and it seems to be rushing their development too fast. The testnet has failed completely. They've had a bug in the code, so the latest version of the update is not consistent with the old blockchain, so the testnets are now running with no history. So this is a pretty serious flaw, and right now Ethereum is going through a major upgrade, and I think September 15 or September 19 they're expected to change that, but Ethereum has already run that through 2 or 3 testnets, and they all made the transition smoothly. So their developing community seems to be maintaining high quality, and Cardano seems to suffer a lot from low quality. There's another one, I don't remember the name, that actually stopped 9 times this year, the main blockchain with real money on it. So all cryptocurrencies are very risky compared to other financial investments for many reasons. One of the many reasons being that the software they're using is really new and untested and generally only sort of a beta test level of security. So there's something here that'd be important if you take the malware analysis class. This, I'll mention to them, we're going to study this a lot. If you analyze malware, or for that matter, any Windows software at the binary level, you watch the Windows API calls, which you're going to learn a lot about if you take that class. And here he's listed which ones of them are commonly called by malware. So things like get module handle and get process address, these are things that are used by normal software too, but he shows them here, and the listing that they're used by malware and what purpose they're used for. So this may help people in identifying malware, although the problem, of course, is that a lot of legitimate programs use the same API calls. Everything you do on Windows is just a series of calling the Windows operating system to do this and do that. So you just call it to load a library, load a resource, set environment variable, and so on. Everything your Windows software does is just a series of calls to these Windows APIs. And another thing we'll talk a lot about in that class is Sysmon. Sysmon is a security tool you can use to monitor what's happening on Windows machine, and now you can use it to block malicious executables. In particular, if you program Sysmon to prevent Microsoft Office from creating executables, you block one of the main techniques by which malware infects your machine, such as ransomware. So this will be another layer of defense you can add in a customized way to Windows machines to make them safer. And Microsoft is moving forward with their ARM64 version. Those of you who get a Mac M1 or M2, I've got an M1, I'm not using it now, but if you have an M1 or an M2, there's big trouble if you want to run a Windows virtual machine. Because even though there is some virtualization software like Parallels and a version of VMware that will run a simulated hardware, it simulates ARM hardware, not Intel hardware. So you would need an ARM-based version of Windows, and that exists, but it's not generally available. It's only available in the dev channel, which I think you have to sign up to some kind of special program to be a Windows developer to get access to it. I don't have access to it myself, as far as I know. And it's not considered ready for sales or anything, but Microsoft is developing an ARM-based version of Windows, which I must say I'm looking forward to more now, because if you get an M1, which I did, if you use a Mac and you get an M1, it is amazingly fast. It's easily 10 times faster, even more than that, for the normal things I do. And I wonder if Windows would also be amazingly fast on ARM. I think it might. So I'm glad they are moving Windows to ARM, but it's not easy to get Windows on ARM yet. APT29, we'll be talking a lot about this sort of thing in the incident response class. This is one of the advanced resistant threat actors. This is a part of the government of China, or the military of China, and they're talking about how they attack Microsoft 365 and how they defeat two-factor authentication, and they change your licensing to cause the anti-malware defenses to stop, and so on. They use a lot of, they take over accounts that have been forgotten about to get into networks, and they're just very effective at getting into email servers at government and business. And these kind of analyses from Mandiant and other threat intelligence companies are extremely helpful to defenders that want to detect bad guys on your network and kick them off. And we'll talk a lot about that in the incident response class, how you get these feeds, these automated feeds and records of what the bad guys are doing and how you defend your network from them. And more cryptocurrency problems. Tether is the number one stablecoin. It's the earliest one and the one that's generally used by everybody. I've got some Tether. Well, I'm not sure I do anymore. I did for a while. But if you want to trade cryptocurrency, you have to have Tether. And Tether is supposed to be a cryptocurrency equal to $1, but in order for that to really be trustworthy, they would have to have a reserve of enough dollars to cover all the Tether. And for years, they have printed incredible amounts of Tether, billions of dollars in just a month or two, to apparently prop up the price of Bitcoin every time it fell, and it's highly dubious that they really have enough dollar reserves to back that up. And they have never been able to get any accounting to prove that. They have hired serious accounting firms, but they have just jerked them around and never given them the proof until the accounting firms have quit in disgust. And now they've moved to an Italian accounting firm. It's like their third or fourth accounting firm. No reputable accounting firm has ever verified that they have reserves. And when it is strongly believed that they don't have dollar reserves, what they have is they've taken your money, you paid them, and they've invested it in something risky like crypto. And that means when the whole crypto market crashes, like it's crashing now, down to about 1/4 of its price 8 months ago, then they won't have the reserves. And a bunch of people are fleeing Tether. 16 billion was, which is 20% of their entire worth, was withdrawn in 1/4. And they claim they had enough reserves, they're fine, it'll be fine. Possibly so, but this is what we're experiencing, just the test of that. When many people try to withdraw their money, then you find out if the bank really has the reserves. And the whole point of cryptocurrency was to escape government regulation, and in that it has succeeded. If you invest in cryptocurrency, you are handing your money to somebody who does not have any of the normal banking regulations protecting you, especially if you go for Tether, which is not even founded in the United States. You're handing your money to somebody, trusting them, and they do not have any requirements to issue financial statements. There's no FDIC to guarantee your money. You're not very likely to be able to sue them if they take your money or lose it. You really don't know what they're doing with it. You don't know if anything they say is true, and frequently it's all lies, and they're losing your money or stealing it. And it's widely considered that if Tether crashes, it will really be bad for the cryptocurrency space, even worse than what's happening now. But so far, Tether has not fallen. They have not failed. They've not run out of reserves, even though 20% of the money was removed. So perhaps all their promises that they really have good reserves are true, more true than you would think. Their inability to prove that has made many people very skeptical, but maybe it'll be okay. Anyway, that's it for the news.